According to Wycliffe, the process of translating the New Testament alone can take up to 20 years. All successful translation projects include the work of surveyors, literacy specialists, linguists, translators, church planters, administrators, teachers, accountants, computer programmers, mechanics, pilots, printers, and many others. Stacy and I have realized that we can't go about the task of Bible translation alone. To be honest, we don't even really know where we would start. No one person or couple can do all of the jobs required to produce an excellent Bible translation. And so that set us in search of an organization that could help us bring the Bible to a Bibleless people. But what we found is that most organizations were either church planting organizations or they did Bible translation. But we had a heart to do both. We don't want to just translate the Bible. We want to evangelize. We want to baptize. We want to disciple people. And that's where World Team came in.
World Team is primarily a church planting organization, but they also do Bible translation in several nations. Their mission statement is, World Team exists to glorify God by working together to establish reproducing churches, focusing on the unreached peoples of the world. This desire pushes them not only to evangelize, but also to disciple men and women in such a way that healthy churches are established. And they know that in order for churches to glorify God, they need to have God's Word. And that is why World Team, along with their sister organization, RBMU, have been translating Bibles for over a century. Here is a simple timeline of some of the completed projects they have worked on.
In 1908, the New Testament was printed in the Lamongo language in the Congo. In 1979, the New Testament was printed in the Chiahuita language in Peru. The New Testament was also translated in 1979 into the Wayana and Trio languages in Suriname. In 2010, the New Testament was translated and dedicated to the Kimyal people of West Papua, and in 2010, the entire Bible was translated into the Ifugao language of the Philippines. So, we have chosen World Team because they do church planting and Bible translation, and they do both well. But we have also chosen them because we trust them as an organization, and we even like them as people. For instance, we got to spend time with Dan and Lisa Friesen on our trip in Cameroon. The Friesens have been in Cameroon for 13 years working on a Bible translation in the Iroko language.
Our time with the Friesens proved very beneficial as they guided us through Cameroon and the translation process. We quickly grew together as a group, which makes moving to Cameroon much less intimidating and much more exciting. We were also able to visit their village and work with their national Bible translation team on the Iroko Bible translation. We were able to wrestle through some tough translation issues. We reviewed their work done in 1 Timothy, and we also got to see men who were born in Africa hear for the first time the Bible in their own language. And all the while, we learned how very like-minded we are with the Friesens and the other World Team missionaries that we encountered. It is such a joy to be so united to our brothers and sisters in the Lord that we only knew for 3 weeks. We all love Jesus, we believe that His gospel is powerful to save sinners, and we long for God's name to be made famous in Cameroon.
So as you can see, we don't have to go about the task of Bible translation alone. The Friesens are gifted linguists and translators that have vowed to help us on this difficult journey. While in Cameroon, we met Sean Kelly, the field administrator, who would help us in scheduling, making purchases, and just dealing with the everyday difficulties of living overseas. The Abbotts and the Conrads have lived in Cameroon among the Baka people, and they have years of experience communicating God's Word through oral storying. And back in the States, we have a group of committed Christians that are willing to help us with our finances. They'll interview and train partners for the field, and they'll also help us schedule furloughs and lead this nation in prayer for their missionaries.
It is a great joy to know that we are not all alone. We've all heard the saying, many hands make light work. The burden of moving overseas, of learning 2 additional languages, developing an alphabet, teaching people to read and write, and then translating the Bible is very overwhelming. But we have great peace knowing that we will be backed not only by many people, but we will be supported by people that we trust.
And we're confident that you can trust World Team too. They're an amazing organization that we are privileged to serve. I encourage you to check out their website, worldteam.org. There you can learn about their heart for missions, their history, and their beliefs. World Team is worth partnering with, and we can't imagine being sent to Cameroon by anyone else.